welcome to Creation Watch, where we are going to explore alternative means to the origin of our existence and what that entails. We cover a lot of things from on here, young Earth creationism and flat Earth being prominent among those. Last week we covered electric universe as well, so we do have kind of a varied platform that we can pick from here, and we've covered all the Abrahamic stuff ad nauseum, right? The only thing I really haven't dove into too much was anything from the Muslim sphere, but I will get there eventually. Not today, though we are going to be bouncing all over the globe with this one because this is allegedly universal. I want you guys to meet Mr. Praveen Mohan. I don't know if you know his channel or know who he is, but that is who we are going to be hanging out with today. And he's going to talk to us about ancient reptile worship. Yeah, the secret of the lizard gods. I was so excited when I found this. D was the first person I shouldn't say D. It was in the swarm on Twitter. So D was the first person I poked about this and said, hey, let's check this out. So we are going to have Praveen break it down to us. He's kind of like a neutral player in this. He presents the conspiracy, but I don't think he espouses any specific position on it. If he does, we'll find out. But I watched this through while I was working, so I'm in and out a little bit on the substance. But let's see what he has to say.
Hey guys, in ancient times, people around the world worshipped lizards as gods. This is largely forbidden and forgotten today. But in India, there is a 1,800-year-old temple, and you can see devotees lining up to touch and worship a carving of a lizard.
I would love to be able to go there and see this temple. I'd love to go to India or anywhere in the old world for that matters, but especially like India and the Middle East, where I could see where human people, where all of our ancestors and where everybody passed through the Levant unless you're of sub-Saharan African descent. So seeing where our civilization began. I mean, obviously I'd love to go to Africa too, but I think the ruins that you see there and some of the early man stuff has been, I guess it's not as well preserved, and it's been that long. But anyway, let's go on.
Actually, there are two lizards here. One is a giant golden lizard, and the other one is a smaller silver lizard. Today, they've put metal engravings covering the ancient stone carvings behind them. And worshipping lizards is not a recent practice. The name of this temple is Varadaraja Perumal Temple, and it was built...
What? Oh my gosh, did you hear the name of the temple? Because I'm not going to be repeating it.
In the 3rd century AD. So this worship started at least 1,000 years ago. Devotees lining up to touch and worship a carving of a lizard. Actually, there are two lizards here. One is a giant golden lizard, and the other one is a smaller silver lizard. Today, they've put
it sounds better now, right?
Engravings covering the ancient stone carvings behind them.
Yeah.
Worshipping lizards is not a recent practice. The name of this temple is Varadaraja Perumal Temple, and it was built in the 3rd century AD. So this worship started at least one...
I guess that computer crash reset all my pre-audio settings too on all my tabs. I should have went through and reset them all. My bad. I'm going to be dropping the ball. Yeah. There's polished stone underneath it. Yeah, there's
Worshipping lizards is not a recent practice. The name of this temple is Varadaraja Perumal Temple, and it was built in the 3rd century AD. So this worship started at least 1,000 years ago. Ancient Indians believed that lizards and other reptile-like beings came from the sky and
So to me, does that look like a lizard to you? That looks like a monkey to me. Its face is short. Its tail is not like tapered. I don't see any well, both. See, that's the problem here. Both a monkey and a lizard would have I guess thumbs on their feet. This looks like a monkey to me. That's my opinion. This doesn't look like a lizard. Not to say that there's not lizards on this temple, but I just don't think this is one.
Had magical powers like shape-shifting. Even today, you can see that Hindus believe that these...
I'm not an archaeologist or historian for Hindu culture, so I'm not saying that I know for sure that's a monkey. I'm just saying what it looks like to me that they were trying to depict was a monkey. Lizard monkey, maybe?
Lizards can help them heal from their diseases and bring them good fortune. But this is not the only Indian temple where lizards are worshipped as gods. There is another temple called Balligiri where there is another lizard engraving on a piece of metal. In this temple too, it is worshipped as a god of good fortune. But this is strange, right? Even if you're a Hindu, you are probably surprised that lizards are still worshipped as gods.
Oh, I see my fiance showed up in the side chat finally. Dr. Tapioca Weasel. We are getting married, so that can be I will be Brie Vandergraaf. That'll be awesome. And also Dr. Tapioca Weasel's hot. Have you seen him? Could you imagine? Coming home to that.
Pop goes the weasel, pop goes the weasel, pop goes the weasel, cause the weasel goes pop. Pop goes the weasel, pop goes the weasel, pop goes the weasel, pop goes the weasel, cause the weasel goes pop.
Yeah, it's good to see you, babe. Good morning. You missed the Sandown Clown, though. It was really weird. It was, so if you get a chance to pop back and just watch a little bit of it just to see what it looked like, I want you to see it because I think it was super bizarre. Probably, would you guys say the Sandown Clown is one of the weirdest things that we've covered on Cryptic Corner so far? It's pretty out there.
Because I'm showing you a very rare phenomenon. But why are they worshipped as gods? Because lizards have a third eye. Yes, they physically have a third.
Sort of. It's an ocelot. An ocelot is kind of like an eye. It's a photoreceptor cell. I shouldn't say it's kind of like an eye. It is an eye. It's a specific type of eye, though. It's different than what we have, which is called a camera eye. And what the lizard has is camera eyes, too. Ocelli are what like when you look really close at like a praying mantis or a wasp and they have three little eyes in the top middle of their head, those are ocelot, and they pick up they don't pick up any color or anything, just shadow and movement.
Third eye called the parietal eye, and many times it is located exactly where you want it to be located.
Well, so to transpose this onto a human as a correlation to the third eye, I would expect it to be up here where these scale patches are. If you're talking about like the supernatural third eye, like the chakra point and stuff, I would expect right here. This would be more like where when you're talking about chakras and stuff, this would be like the crown chakra, in my opinion. This correlation of the anatomy, right? This would be more relative to the crown chakra than it would for the parietal eye, or what are the parietal chakra.
yes, on the forehead between the two eyes, very similar to the third eye depiction in Hinduism. And not only does it look like a
See, I would think, again, more up here, because that's the crown of the head, in my opinion. Yeah, I think the parietal eye and diapsids is in a different location than the parietal eye. I think that they're shifted up and are shifted down and then kind of vanish. You still have that good pineal gland back there, though, that used to run all that sensory stuff and help you know when to go to sleep and wake up. But now it's just rewired to a atomic clock system in your body. But you can't like change your senses by covering it up anymore, like your sense of night and day. We totally lost that. But ours was our ancestors that moved down, and then diapsids that moved up to the crown, so that they could, because they're the way that they have to lay, because they're ectothermic, right? So they have to lay with their stomach pressed against the ground. So having that to tell them which way the sun is and which way the sun's moving is important. Having it like facing directly up, so they can adjust their body to maintain the homeostasis with their body temperature.
an eye. In some lizards, like the tuatara, it also
He just
has
did it.
a lens,
That's a
cornea,
unforgivable
and
sin.
a retina like
Did
the
you guys hear that?
tuatara. It
Oh, he said
also
it.
has,
I made him.
and not only does it look like an eye, in some lizards, like the tuatara,
No, stop saying that. The tuatara is not a lizard. Totally different group. Tuatara is diverged from lizards. If you call a tuatara a lizard and you don't call then you need to, you don't call a snake a lizard, right? Ring. I know. Vent for me. Will you scream? Because I've got a microphone in front of me, so I can't scream into the void about it. But could you? Because this is a thing that, yeah. But I'm not going to bash on Praveen too much. He's not a biologist or anything. But presenting it as if this is something present in lizards that were in India. A tuatara is a very distinct group of lepidosaurs that lived in Gondwana land and only have descendants currently in New Zealand, but they used to be pretty prevalent everywhere. New Zealand, they could survive a little bit cooler temperatures than lizards, so they were able to carve out a little niche for themselves in that same ecological niche in New Zealand, where it's a little bit cooler, but not in India, not where these temples are. So we can't compare what a tuatara has to what lizards have in that little peak of their head there.
it also has a lens, cornea, and
Mm-hmm.
a retina like an actual eye.
Yes, that's the difference between the tuatara. As I was saying, the lizards have more like an ocelli that just tells them light, dark, and movement. Tuataras, it's actually like an eye. It actually can pick up. It actually picks up like color and movement, like with focus and such. It's not a good eye. It's a poor eye, but it is like a real camera eye. The retina is, yeah, look at and you've seen this is explaining that the retina is a little bit different.
Scientists now confirm that this third eye can not only sense light, it can also be used as a GPS navigation system. And guess what? It is part of the pineal complex, meaning it functions with the pineal gland. Some claim that
I just wanted to. That was the part that I wanted, that made me say yes. I have to go to this video so I can do a fake outrage about the tuatara thing. That was the whole point of covering this video. We can move on now. Oh, you're in for a treat learning about them, because they're really weird and they're holdover from they've been there like since the Cretaceous. Yeah, do lizards look like everything looked like that back when we first started. We even looked like that, and then for a while we looked like that but furry. Yeah, look at a monotreme, right, with their legs on the sides and everything, like and then you look at like a lizard, right? Our therapsid ancestors were very lizard-like.
That in ancient India, a type of lizard people or lizard gods existed, and they coexisted with humans. These reptiles were quite sophisticated, and they even assisted some kings in war. In this ancient temple, you can see a battle scene. Here is a soldier on a horse wielding his sword. At the bottom, there is another man with a sword in one hand and a shield in the other hand. But what is that scaly thing next to him? Look at its skin. You are immediately reminded of a crocodile, but it is standing on two legs, and see what it's about to do. It's about to bite a man's head off alive. Look at the size of the lizard and the size.
Let's pause this for a minute. I want to look at this creature. Okay, so I like trying to figure out what statues and stuff are supposed to be. I'm thinking this is fanciful depiction. I do think it's a lizard. I think it's a fanciful lizard. I don't know if it's necessarily supposed to be depicted as biped as much as it's supposed to be depicted as mauling the sky, though. Could be a crocodile, but this right here, well, I want to think it's supposed to depict a big varanid, like a Komodo, not a Komodo dragon, because they don't live in India, but there are big varanids in the Indian subcontinent. I want to think that it's a varanid, or the depiction of a varanid. Maybe this could be a story about them moving into an area. All right, I'll hydrate. Oh shoot, where's my water bottle? Hold on. Got it. Thank you, Bugbot. Love you. A dragon ate my face. That's the name of the statue. So,
of the human, the lizard being, is quite large.
Oh, another angle. Yeah, it's seeing this, it makes me think even more that it's not supposed to be depicted as a biped. Look at this leg. This is the hind leg. Folded back, so this animal's hind leg is digigrade. So most bipeds are plantigrade. I mean, well, shouldn't say that because diapsids are not. And diapsids, most bipeds are digigrade. In mammals, though, like they're talking about like lizard people, you'd expect plantigrade feet. But the difference between plantigrade and digigrade is what touches the ground. Plantigrades walk like, or digigrades walk like this. We are not digigrades. Like if you stood on your tiptoes, you'd be digigrade. Birds walk on their toes like that. Dogs do. But we walk like this, you know, with our whole foot on the ground. This organism, because of the structure, and it's the distance between it's the tarsals. And now that I'm showing you my hand, so it's going to be carpals are going to be the correlation here. But the way that the tarsals are elongated will tell you if it's digigrade or plantigrade. With plantigrade, they tend to be foreshortened. The whole section coming in contact with the ground. I'm sorry, I'm going on science rants, but that's what I'm here to do. Is I lure you in with promises of lizard people, and then I teach you animal biology. So, I hope I feel like I lured you in under false pretenses, but yes, I'm going to teach you science. You have to appreciate the total lack of nuance in with which Praveen Mohan speaks about pretty much everything, just drawing conclusions and making connections on assumptions and heresy. Okay, yeah, I only watched a few of his videos. I thought I thought he was more neutral than this when I was listening at work, but as I go through this and hear his assertions like about this and stuff, I'm starting to say, yeah, Praveen, I don't think that this is a biped. I think this is a quadruped mauling people.
It is taking out one man with a single bite and is handling another man with its
Yeah, and it could be a conquest story too, where they moved into an area where there were big lizards that they like. Yeah, he said, which Ring said, Indonesia. It could be an Indonesian conquest, talking about the big lizards that they ran into and stuff.
claws. There are no such giant lizards today, and what I find interesting is that its third eye is covered with a religious symbol called Udva Pundra. This symbol is also worn by Lord Vishnu and his
I'll take your word for it that that's what that is.
followers, clearly indicating that this lizard is not just some random animal.
Because it looked to me, concentric stripes don't really. I'm not convinced that it is correlated, because there's and especially when it's just two concentric stripes, one inside of the other, a white stripe with a red stripe over it, or as the statue would be, it would just be a gray stripe with a gray stripe over it. So I'm not willing to say that that's a direct relation that Praveen's presenting here, but I will be charitable enough to say that maybe an archaeologist has looked into it and confirmed that that's what's supposed to be depicted there. I will grant that, because I don't know the history of the statue as much as Praveen may have specifically, but a citation would be nice.
But rather a divine lizard person. Indian texts talk about a lizard called Indriga who could shapeshift into a human whenever he wanted. They also mention that he could change his skin color like a chameleon and blend with the surroundings. According to some, he was also capable of walking on water.
It's funny though, because they talk about some of the features that they're talking about are not just unique to lizards. It's like, oh, these are lizard features. These are iguanid features, right? These are the changing color is an iguanid feature. The walking on water is an iguanid feature. And when I say iguanid, I'm not just talking about iguanas. When you think of like a standard lizard, that's what it is, an iguanid. It's chameleons, iguanas, basilisk lizards, anoles. The standard model lizard is the iguanid. The ones that have specialized feet that can allow them to run on water are iguanids. The ones that change colors with the chromatophoric, I don't think they're chromatophores. I think they are, what are they called? Chromatophores are what octopi have. Octopodes have. Anyway, I don't want to mislabel it. So the skin cells that change color, that's a feature of iguanids, right? Even iguanas, green iguanas have that. You can like grab a green iguana and hold it in your hands for 15 minutes and move your fingers away, and you'll see where your fingers were. There'll be dark patches because their skin gets darker to absorb the heat when there's heat touching them. That is the same process by which chameleons have, which are another group within this, that are nested within this group, have further adapted to go through a more varied spectrum of color than just the dark to light. So if you think about it, it's pigment cells that were evolved to get darker to absorb more heat, right? And then over generations, different scale patterns evolved to be over top of it with prism-like qualities that, with the changes in the way that the color is projected, the iguanids can literally change through a whole spectrum of colors, like you see in chameleons and some other related species. All right, I'm done with my. Is chromatophores the right term? I wanted to say that, but I thought that was specific to octopods. I keep saying octopods, octopodes. So thank you, Ring, for clarifying on that for me.
It's really interesting because some lizards can walk on water. In the Americas, the basilisk is more commonly known as the Jesus Christ lizard because it can walk on water. In India, there are...
Now this is definitely a lizard. I have no doubt that this statue is a lizard. lizards can grow beards, but you can't, native atheist. I'm sorry. Maybe what can happen is when you pass in this life, your all the electronic energies and everything that dissipates from you in your body that returns into the soil of the earth will find their way into a freaking wonderful bearded dragon somewhere that's living its best life. I really hope that every piece of you ends up in a bearded dragon of some form. There, native atheist. That's what I hope for you. It's not really reincarnation, but it's the closest thing a Gaianist has for, or Lovelockian Gaianist have. No, there's no afterlife, but you can rest assured that you will be reprocessed back into the machine and used to make new tools within.
Many temples which have carvings of lizards. The famous Brihadiswara temple also has a carving of a giant lizard. These carvings are usually placed in unusual locations and 99% of visitors will not see them. However, if you analyze any ancient Hindu temple...
Oh, this is the one we thought was a monkey earlier. Okay, let's have a look at it. Now, the tail, I've seen it from this angle. The tail does look thicker at the base, and it does look like it tapers more, so it does look more reptilian at this angle. I don't know if that's because the sculpt they have to sculpt it where the tail meets they had like fill in this space. Like, you're not meant to see this, but there's like the tail's supposed to run
carefully. You can almost definitely see at least one carving of a lizard. According to some Hindus,
wait till this guy sees a gift shop in Arizona. Lizards out the wazoo. Every gecko keychain and wallet that you can think of.
Golden lizard descended from the sun. Its skin was golden like the sun, and it was immortal. Humans initially tried to kill this lizard by throwing it in fire, but it did not die because it was made of fire itself.
Ooh, now we're going to get into a whole different concept, guys. This is beyond, I think this goes beyond Indian tradition, and we start to move west from here in what we are, what we're going to explore.
Seems like a fancy folklore spun by some locals of South India, right? Strangely enough, the same beliefs existed more than 4,000 miles away. The famous Cathedral of Notre Dame in Paris is known for its unexplored secrets.
Well, this is another piece of history for you guys. Today is the anniversary of the fire in Notre Dame. Also, for those of you keeping score, today is the anniversary of the sinking of probably the most famous ship sinking of all time. Can anybody tell me what the name of that ship was? Sank on April 15th. Anybody know? Tell me in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. Today is oh my gosh! Today is an anniversary of disasters. That's why the power went out when my stream started. That's why I keep getting muted. That's why everything reset. So
99% of visitors would never notice this relief carving. A woman holds a flaming disc resembling the sun, and inside you can see a lizard. The lizard is shown emitting flames of fire.
This is not a lizard. This is a salamander. Praveen is incorrect about this organism, and there's actually literature about this creature, and it's rooted in mostly like Southern European folklore, because when they would bring their lumber in for the winter, salamanders would that's where they overwinter at, right? So they would be overwintering in these logs, sleeping for months and months, and in the middle of winter, they'd throw the log into the fire, right? And suddenly, in amphibians, salamanders and frogs they have like this unique, weird response to heat and cold. That's why we have our antidote about putting a frog in a boiling pot of water, right? That if you put them into the boiling pot of water, they'll jump. Now there's that thought experiment is problematic in and of itself because when actually it doesn't work in practice. The frog's not going to sit in the water until it starts boiling. Generally speaking, they have a better heat response to that than that, but not a good one. Not a good one like the rest of the vertebrates crawling around on Earth. Theirs is much more primitive because they're more aquatic. So the salamanders would literally crawl out of the burning logs and just sit there on top of the logs as they burned around them. So they thought that these lizards were. They thought they were lizards first. They didn't know they were salamanders, but they thought these lizards were born from burning these logs.
Fire, and is shown with all its body parts, indicating that it is resistant to fire. In ancient and medieval Europe, you can find many manuscripts showing the same detail.
Yeah, so and they became because of this phenomena that happens, it became the symbol of like the fire element, because we had our old elemental system, right, with earth, air, water. Well, that's very. He's talking about Europe right now, so that's very. Very European centric, earth, air, fire, water, and the salamander was often the fire element because of that, along with other fiery creatures like the phoenix, for instance. But the salamander is a very popular one, and in like neo-pagan cultures, I used to run with a lot of neo-pagan people. The salamander is often used as the representation of the element of fire when they're doing their circles and all that stuff.
Okay, a lizard unharmed by fire. Is it possible that such fire-resistant lizards existed in ancient times? Why else would an
They exist still now. They're not lizards, though. They're amphibians, and they're not fires. And that's the funny thing about them, too, is that the folklore was that when the fire went out that they died. But generally speaking, they cooked, and their corpse was sitting in the fire. And when the fire went out, they found the corpse. Right?
50-year-old cathedral in France.
And I'm sure sometimes they came skittering out of there pretty fast and maybe leaving a little burning trail behind them. I'm sure that was terrifying. And maybe sometimes it was lizards, but most of the time it was salamanders. Let's see. I live on the edge of Karst Plateau. Caves everywhere, which means we get to see cave salamanders once in a while. Neat little creatures. I love salamanders. That is another thing that we had when I was a kid. We had a tank with salamanders in it. Yeah, my dad liked herps, so he let us have a lot of herps. He didn't like snakes, though. My dad was terrified of snakes.
Put a flaming lizard in an unnoticeable location. Less than 2 miles away from this cathedral, there is a majestic bridge called the Pont Alexandre III. Inaugurated in 1900, this bridge is only 123 years old, but is filled with figures of ancient gods and goddesses like the Nereids. But in a remote part of the bridge, a golden lizard sits majestically in a corner.
Ooh, I actually like that one. That's definitely supposed to be a varanid, though, right? I mean, that looks like a varanid to me. So besides its tail's shortened, but that's the nature of sculpting with gold in a statue cast. But
waiting to be spotted.
Say sculpting, casting in gold. Ooh, it's well done.
And worshipped.
I don't know why.
But there's more evidence that lizard worship is practiced in the United States. Not by Native Americans or something like that, but by presidents and governors.
Here we go. I didn't even get my foil hat out. We're about to go deep on it.
And other elite people. In the year 2000, on July 15th, radio host Alex Jones
We're not doing that here,
and his
native
cameraman
atheist.
used
Love you,
hidden
babe.
cameras and filmed a secret ceremony
Mm-hmm.
attended by elite Americans in a restricted place called the Bohemian Grove. The ceremony was conducted in front of a 40-foot tall owl statue, and Alex Jones published the details. 1,800
shoot,
year
I
old
lost my
temple.
place. Damn
And
it,
you
where
can
was
see
I?
it's not by Native Americans or something like that, but by presidents and governors
Yeah, I was trying to.
and other elite people. In the year 2000,
Okay, here we go. That's what I
on
was looking
July
for. So, Alex Jones. Who are these guys?
15th, radio host Alex Jones and his cameraman used hidden cameras and filmed a secret ceremony attended by elite Americans
Good old InfoWars.
in a restricted place called the Bohemian Grove. The ceremony was conducted in front of a
Okay.
40-foot
I'm-
tall owl statue, and Alex Jones published the details as a documentary. In an interview, Alex Jones called it a mystery religion ceremony and claimed that U.S. presidents like Richard Nixon were
So this is, and we've talked about this before a bit. That these mystery cults and stuff like that, they're not really, they're secret societies. Really, is all that. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, and all the evidence I've seen, there's nothing like supernatural about them. Right? It's just like a frat party, right? Like a bunch of frat boys doing ceremonies in their robes.
worshipped a lizard god. Not only is this
Yeah, I don't know how they didn't see the light from his crack pipe didn't give him away, right? Alex Jones.
documentary banned on social media. Alex Jones himself is banned on all social media platforms, including YouTube and Twitter. In the US, it's widely believed that many of the world's richest are not humans. They are secretly lizards. The internet is full of these lizard person
Obviously,
memes.
Mark Zuckerberg is the go-to lizard person, right? and I think he leans into it for people. He's like, yeah, nope, I'm not a lizard. And then acts weird. Like, look at that. Waiting for a forked tongue to dip down into the water for a drink. Of course, Mike Pence is a lizard person. He wasn't a lizard person before the insurrection thing, though. Now he is.
In a live Q&A session, Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg had to clarify that he's not a lizard. In another discussion, he accidentally slipped up and said he was a human in the past. Watch these clips.
When you do these live Q&As, some of them are very silly. So we got one. Mark, are the allegations true that you are secretly a lizard? I'm gonna have to go with no on that. I am not a lizard.
Because you're human, and I was human. I am human still. But I was.
I would believe that Mark Zuckerberg is a drone clone of some kind before I believe he was a lizard. There's certain qualifications you have to be a lizard. A lizard is not an overarching term. There has to be certain qualities, but I digress.
Just referring to myself in the past. Not that I was not human.
Katy Perry's glitch video
This-
became viral after one of her eyes kept closing, and apparently she had to press a button on the side to open it.
This is ridiculous. For all my girls that wear lashes or have worn lashes, you all know what's happening here, right? We all know that, when your lash, I use magnetic lashes now. Thank you, Jenna I love you, Jenna turned me on to magnetic lashes and they changed my life. But when you're doing performance and stuff, magnetic lashes don't do the trick, and you have to use the glue-on type, especially the big ones like Katy Perry wears. And that glue is icky and sticky, and it will lock your eye shut. You can see her lash right there coming off. You can see it, that it's reacting, that it's the glue. It's the glue sticking. And all she did was pull her skin, like just give it a little bump so that it broke the seal.
Jeff Bezos was caught eating
Ew.
a lizard, and the memes about him being a lizard eating its own kind.
That does look disgusting, I'm not going to lie. Not to say I wouldn't eat iguana, I just wouldn't eat like just a cooked dead iguana on a table. I would maybe have cuts of iguana meat and I would eat them. Yeah, her. I don't think it didn't look. I don't think Praveen did it. Someone edited the footage to make it look like it happened really slow, but she really just blinked and it got stuck, and then she went like that and fixed it. It was just for like 3 seconds. She blinked and the glue got stuck, and she was like, she was doing it, and she finally went when she realized she wasn't going to be able to get it pulled open with just the muscle on her eyelids. It really happened, but not in the way that they're showing it there. Yeah, I would not. I wouldn't eat an iguana in this condition. Not to say I wouldn't eat an iguana.
Mind exploded. These beliefs have become so widespread that when you search Jeff Bezos lizard, YouTube has to display a fact check that these are false claims. Why are these rich and powerful people associated?
Yeah, if I make a video and I put that it's about flat Earth in my video, there will be a disclaimer under my video in like a Wikipedia link that explains what flat Earth is all about and how it's a hoax. Hey, Killed by Bigfoot, it's been so long since I've seen you in the chat. It's good to, I know that you do lurk and listen even when you don't engage. So I love you, babe. Thank you for sticking around. We're lizard people right now, but you missed the Sandown Clown. We're going to get more down to earth here in just a little bit, though, as soon as we let Praveen finish with his discussion here. Yes, look at that. We have, there's the flat Earth, Jason Jacoby, right underneath its dome. I think, we don't have a, maybe I do need, that's maybe my next one. I might do a Sandown Clown for my next emoji. Do you all want a Sandown Clown? Or do you want maybe a lizard person?
With lizards and reptiles. While these recent trends and memes make us think about the connection between lizards and humans, ancient builders around the world all worshipped reptiles without a doubt. In Africa, they worshipped a figure called Nomoli. Hundreds of these ancient statues.
That's Pyramid Head from Silent Hill.
Have been found, and they're clearly lizard-like beings.
Not really, though. Not really. I don't know anything about that particular statue. I just thought it looked like Pyramid Head. Don't want to give anybody the impression that I really think that was supposed to be Pyramid Head.
With large, bulgy eyes and scaly skin. Some of the Nomoli statues look human from the front, but at the back they have a lizard attached to them, indicating that these are secretly reptiles.
No, I would love it if this is like what was that series where they had the demons that were in animals? Like everybody had like a reptile that sat on their shoulder and guided them through lives. Lizard person is a slur. We prefer Silurians. Silurians, yes, I like that term. We're gonna go with it. What are the lizard people? What are the Silurians from Star Trek called? I can't remember. The Gorn, I think. Yeah, Gorn are like. I would like to see more Gorn, or maybe even a Gorn series.
Posing as humans. But the mystery only gets deeper. Is it possible?
See, that's the thing too, Sandy. There is already a lizard lizard emoji, or so I don't know what I would do. I got some different ideas for different emojis as the channel grows. I think I could make some new ones right now and put them up. I just haven't got around to it yet.
That the very first god that humans worshipped was a lizard. Why do I say this? The oldest archaeological site as we know today.
No, I'm going to clarify Praveen and correct him right now. The first thing ever worshipped was a curvy mommy. And if you watch my loading screen, the curvy mommy flies across there because I love a curvy mommy. And I'm not gonna live in shame about it. So that's the first thing that we worshipped. So maybe lizards came next.
Is called Göbekli Tepe in Turkey. It is said to be about 12,000 years.
There are definitely goddess figures that are older than Göbekli Tepe. I'm not even gonna try it. Göbekli Tepe.
Old. And what do we find here? A strange carving of a giant lizard perched upside down on a wall.
I'm turning my head to try to see it. Okay, I can accept that that's a lizard. I would also believe if that's what the archaeologists say it is, because they know more about how this stylized depiction is presented. But to me, I would say it does look very, very therapsid-like as well. So there's that. Yeah, Göbekli Tepe.
Most people think that, yes, this is a lizard because mammals cannot stand on a wall upside down, and you can see a smaller mammal below standing in a
so they do think it's a therapsid, and you think it's a lizard. Okay, just to make sure that's clear.
normal position. It is probably a pig or a boar. Compare the size of the lizard, it is much, much larger.
I don't know. The more I look at it, the more angles you show me this animal at, the more I'm thinking it's a felid. Or at least a therapsid. I just can't help but think that, looking at it. I'm going to count the toes, though. Of course, that's not any, because it's stylized, right? But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 toes on the front paw, or front foot. 2, 3. Maybe 4 toes on the back foot. So, yes, curvy mommies, cat girls, femboys. Brie has varied taste. Thinks a lot of people are super sexy and they should feel good about themselves and those sexy, sexy bodies. Most adults have sexy bodies when put into the right context, right? So, I'm here for it. Be sexy, people.
Than this mammal. Of all animals, why did ancient builders choose to carve a giant lizard 12,000 years ago? How are...
Yeah, Aunt Jur is absolutely right. Cats cannot climb down in that direction. That is why you have to call the fire department once they get themselves up there. I have no idea how people like you and Aaron are able to remember all these different genera and whatnot. I can barely remember zebras aren't horses. Well, it depends on what you mean by horses, though, right?
Are reptiles and humans connected? Did lizard-like beings exist in the past? Is it possible?
Well, lizards definitely did. Big ones, too.
That they still exist today? Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I am Praveen. Mohan, thanks a lot for watching.
Yeah.
Don't forget to subscribe. I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, so again, Praveen Mohan, he's pretty big. He's got 1.7 million subscribers on his channel. So if you like going over, like, here we go. Here's some sacred monks and stuff like this. If you like this ridiculous forbidden history, that's what this guy does. But if you want to see debunking forbidden history crap, come to my channel, especially tomorrow when I have the one and only Pat Lauinger on to discuss Pat's not out here either. It's a secret, so don't tell Pat. Same thing I did with Megan a couple of weeks ago with Megan Lewis. We're not telling them that what I'm going to show them and what I'm going to make them listen to. We are doing ancient stonework or stone structures in America, in the Americas. Yeah, it's gonna be a wild ride. So if this is the kind of stuff you like seeing here in the Hive, this is what we're doing on What's the Buzz tomorrow with Pat Lowinger at, I hope I'm saying, is it Lowinger or Lowinger? I can never remember, and I always feel like I'm saying it wrong. Yeah, Ring says that was a leopard in that depiction. Yeah, I knew it was Therapsid, or I thought it was Therapsid. Yeah, I agree with Jur that generally cats don't do that, but I've seen leopards go down a tree like that and attack something and actually do exactly what that leopard was doing. I have a video of it where one was in a tree and jumped down onto a cattle. I think maybe that was what was supposed to be depicted there. Anyway, so yeah. Well, we could even consider tomorrow a continuation of this for our ancient archaeology. I really like having these scholars and people who actually work in the field on to watch people make false claims about what they do for a living. That is one of my favorite things that I've been doing on this platform lately. So if you like that, stick around. But we're gonna call that for Creation Watch today. For those of you guys watching this Wednesday night, thank you so much for joining us here. Please remember to be kind, take care, and watch out for the lizard people.
Yeah.